Good to see you.
Chairman of the Pulitzer Prize Board this year is something like being President of the United States after Franklin Roosevelt. You really feel like a fraud standing up here trying to be the chairman of the Pulitzer Prize Board when Joe Pulitzer is sitting there in the audience. It is the second greatest pleasure for members of the Pulitzer Prize Board to participate in the awarding of these prizes to you. Our greatest pleasure is enjoying and reading your work, which I can say with certainty for all of my colleagues on the board, we surely did. This year I have also a sad duty to perform. Robin Cousin, where are you? Robin? Before anyone in this room was associated with the Pulitzer Prizes, there was Robin. Before Mike Sovern, no, that's not true. Before everybody but Joe. But before Mike, before Bob, before me, and the secret of the Pulitzer Prizes is that when something goes wrong, Bob Christopher issues a statement that is lofty and it's moving, and it's a statement by the UN Security Council. When something goes right, those members of the board, when we are thanked by a winner, smile with a denial that says, "You owe me one pal for life," and 10 years after. But the truth about the board is that everything that has gone right for the last 13 years has in large measure been due to Robin Cousin. I cannot tell you the times over the last 8 years that I've called and said, "Robin, how do you? Robin, why do we? Robin, can you do this?" And one of the joys of being chairman has been that if you sit at the meeting and you don't know what to do, Robin leans over and whispers in your ear. Maybe that's why she's leaving. Maybe she doesn't want to whisper in my ear. But Bob Christopher, I just want to you never to write in the history of the Pulitzer Board that the thing that Wilkins did when he was chairman was to lose Robin. Robin is going off to Charlottesville, Virginia. Great gain for the University of Virginia. Great loss to Columbia University and the Pulitzer Prize Board. Robin, we love you and we thank you for everything you've done for us. As I said, this is a terrific moment for those of us on the board. It makes our work very worthwhile. Before I introduce Mike Sovern, however, I want to say for each of the members of the board who have served with him, something that we have said privately, I want to say publicly. Joe, it has been a great pleasure to serve with you. Great pleasure. Columbia University adds authority, depth, strength, authenticity to these prizes, and these days it also adds Mike Sovern, man of grace, charm, intelligence, and by no means least wit. It's a pleasure to introduce for the presentation of the prizes our colleague Mike Sovern. Thank you, Roger. Let me add my personal thanks and warm best wishes to Robin Cousin for a job well done. We shall miss you. Roger is taller than I am. Let me get this thing up. Good, it works like everything else around here. Welcome. These are the 4th annual awards to be made at a luncheon in honor of the winners of the Pulitzer Prize. You will note that the ceremony is of recent vintage. Traditionally, the recipients of the Pulitzer Prize heard the good news and stayed home. There, according to a recent report by the New York Times, some succumbed to post-Pulitzer depression, characterized by, quote, puzzling emptiness, unquote, and a feeling of how do I top this? On the theory that the puzzling emptiness was hunger, we decided that the prizes should be accompanied by lunch. We also felt that to receive your awards, you should not be subjected to the most suspenseful experience in American life, the United States Postal Service. And so today we recognize my personal delivery that while you are very much alive, writing, creating, composing, drawing, photographing, investigating, and editing, you now officially join the pantheon of artists and journalists, commentators and scholars whose work has earned the special respect of the toughest judges, your peers. From now on, you are like the cross-eyed javelin thrower, to be watched with respectful attention. As for the nagging question, can you keep it grows on you. As for the nagging question, can you keep topping your own extraordinary achievements? Your mother knows you can do it, and we know that you will not rest on this laurel. We look forward to your future accomplishments, believing with you and with George Eliot that the reward of one duty is the power to fulfill another. Your predecessors in Pulitzer Prize-dom are as celebrated and as different as Amy Lowell and John F. Kennedy, though both were New Englanders who enjoyed a good cigar. But what binds together Aaron Copland and Herbert Baird Swope, Willa Cather and Bill Malden, Walter Durante and Edna St. Vincent Millay, Eugene O'Neill and Ernie Pyle, is the strength of their fidelity to a private vision and a public concern. Because you share that fierce devotion, you help to shape and refine the standards of excellence, shaped by Hemingway, Faulkner, and William Allen White, by Carl Sandburg, Meyer Berger, Henry Adams, Oscar Hammerstein, and Walter Lippmann, by those who have changed our way of seeing ourselves and our world. When the first Joseph Pulitzer decided to link a group of prizes to this university, he expressed the hope that this would encourage public service, public morals, American literature, and the advancement of education. The spirit in which we began is the spirit in which we continue. This year, the quality of the entries was extraordinarily high. To be the best of the best in 1987 is a truly remarkable attainment. And now, as we present the 1987 Pulitzer Prizes for Achievement, spanning the world of arts and ideas, let us be mindful of the freedom shared by scholars, journalists, and artists in an open society. We know that wherever tyranny takes hold, whether of the left or of the right, the first targets of oppression and censorship are the forums of education, communication, and the arts. And though we gather today in the congenial spirit of celebration, it is worth reminding ourselves that we can never be too vigilant in guarding against the subtle and sometimes not so subtle erosion of freedom of inquiry and expression. I feel privileged to celebrate with you today the exercise of free expression and social responsibility honored by the Pulitzer Prizes. And now, the prizes. We begin with the Pulitzer Prize for Public Service and I ask Mrs. McCarran, Schneider, and Brelis please to join me.
Terrific series. You'll never fly in an airplane again after you read it. I think all the judges went home by train. It's just, you know, this is about drugs.
The Pulitzer Prize for Public Service is awarded for a distinguished example of meritorious public service by a newspaper through the use of its journalistic resources, which may include editorials, cartoons, and photographs, as well as reporting. And the Gold Medal for Public Service is awarded to the Pittsburgh Press for reporting by Andrew Schneider and Matthew Brelis, which revealed the inadequacy of the FAA's medical screening of airline pilots and led to significant reforms. Accepting the award are Angus McCarran, editor, Andrew Schneider, and Matthew Brelis. Goodness, it's all in proper order. Assume McCarran lost.
What's in the box? What's in the
Public service.
No money. No money, guys.
Mr. Larry Williams, please join me. The Pulitzer Prize for General News Reporting for a distinguished example of reporting within a newspaper's area of circulation that meets the daily challenges of journalism, such as spot news reporting or consistent beat coverage. The prize is awarded to the Akron Beacon Journal staff for its coverage under deadline pressure of the attempted takeover of Goodyear Tire and Rubber by a European financier. Mr. Larry Williams, Managing Editor News, is accepting the award. We are making 2 awards of the Pulitzer Prize for Investigative Reporting, and I always emphasize it's 2 awards. The winners are not each getting half an award. We are making 2 awards. First, will Messrs. Biddle, Bissinger, and Tulsky please join me.
Who wrote this? I don't remember.
He's the one who wrote the story of the court.
Oh, God.
The Pulitzer Prize for Investigative Reporting for a distinguished example of investigative reporting within a newspaper's area of circulation by an individual or team presented as a single article or series. This prize is awarded to Daniel R. Biddle, H.G. Bissinger, and Frederick N. Tulsky of the Philadephia Inquirer for their series Disorder in the Court, which revealed transgressions of justice in the Philadelphia court system and led to federal and state investigations. And now Mr. John Westenbeek, please come forward. This Pulitzer Prize for Investigative Reporting is awarded to John Westenbeek of the Philadephia Inquirer for outstanding prison beat reporting, which included establishing the innocence of a man convicted of murder. Congratulations. The Pulitzer Prize for Explanatory Journalism for a distinguished example of explanatory journalism that illuminates significant and complex issues. This prize is awarded to Peter Gorner and Jeff Lyon of the Chicago Tribune for their series on the promises of gene therapy, which examined the implications of this revolutionary medical treatment. please join me. The Pulitzer Prize for Specialized Reporting. For a distinguished example of reporting on such specialized subjects as sports, business, science, education, or religion, this prize is awarded to Alex S. Jones of the New York Times for The Fall of the House of Bingham, a skillful and sensitive report of a powerful newspaper family's domestic bickering and how it led to the sale of a famed media empire. Tell how good a year this is. We are making 2 awards of the Pulitzer Prize for National Reporting, and I ask first that Messrs. Chardy and McGee please come forward. The Pulitzer Prize for National Reporting is awarded to the Miami Herald staff for its exclusive reporting and persistent coverage of the U.S.-Iran Contra connection, and the award is being accepted by Alphonse Chardy, Washington Bureau reporter, and Jim McGee, investigative reporter. Since it's a staff award, I don't think now, will Mr. Richard Flats please join me? This prize for national reporting is awarded to the New York Times staff for coverage of the aftermath of the Challenger explosion, which included stories that identified serious flaws in the shuttle's design and in the administration of America's space program. The award is being accepted by Richard Flass, Director of Science News, on behalf of Stuart Diamond, David Sanger, William Broad, Philip Buffy, William Schmidt, John Noble Wilford, Richard Whitkin, and Holcomb V. Noble. Congratulations. Will Mr. Cutler please join me? The system is just broken down. Don't go away, Cutler. It's nice to see you. I really do not appear to have a certificate to the couch anyway. Let me just see this talk.
Here comes Rob.
I've got it. Thank you. It's,
nearsighted.
he's not going to win it. This is the Pulitzer Prize for International Reporting. For a distinguished example of reporting on international affairs, including United Nations correspondence, this prize is awarded to Michael Parks of the Los Angeles Times for his balanced and comprehensive coverage of South Africa. Mr. Parks cannot be with us today, and so Mr. George Copley, our managing editor, is accepting the award on his behalf. And it does indeed have Michael Parks. Will Mr. Comey please join me? The Pulitzer Prize for Feature Writing. For a distinguished example of feature writing, giving prime consideration to high literary quality and originality, this prize is awarded to Steve Comey of the Philadephia Inquirer for his illuminating profile on life aboard an aircraft carrier. Congratulations. Thank you. Will Charles Krauthammer please join me? Pulitzer Prize for Distinguished Commentary is awarded to Charles Krauthammer of the Washington Post Writers Group for his witty and insightful columns on national issues. Congratulations. Will Mr. Richard Ader please join me? The Pulitzer Prize for Distinguished Criticism is awarded to Richard Ader of the Los Angeles Times for his book review. Will Jonathan Friedman please join me? Pulitzer Prize for Editorial Writing. For distinguished editorial writing, the test of excellence being clearness of style, moral purpose, sound reasoning, and power to influence public opinion in what the writer conceives to be the right direction, due account being taken of the whole volume of the editorial writer's work during the year. This prize is awarded to Jonathan Friedman of the Tribune, San Diego, California, for his editorials urging passage of the first major Immigration Reform Act in 34 years. Will Mr. Breathitt please join me? Pulitzer Prize for Editorial Cartooning. For a distinguished example of a cartoonist's work, the determining qualities being that the cartoon shall embody an idea made clearly apparent, shall show good drawing and striking pictorial effect, and shall be intended to be helpful to some commendable cause of public importance, due account being taken of the whole volume of the artist's work during the year. This prize is awarded to Bert Breathitt of the Washington Post Writers Group. Will Kim Kamenich please join me? The Pulitzer Prize for Spot News Photography. For an outstanding example of spot news photography in black and white or color, which may consist of a photograph or photographs, a sequence, or an album. This prize is awarded to Kim Kamenich of the San Francisco Examiner for his photographic coverage of the fall of Ferdinand Marcos. Will David Peterson please move forward? The Pulitzer Prize for Feature Photography. For an outstanding example of feature photography in black and white or color, which may consist of a photograph or photographs, a sequence, or an album. This prize is awarded to David C. Peterson of the Des Moines Register for his photographs depicting the shattered dreams of American farmers. And now may I ask Joseph Pulitzer to join me. This Pulitzer Prize special citation is awarded to Joseph Pulitzer Jr. for his extraordinary services to American journalism and letters during his 31 years as chairman of the Pulitzer Prize Board and for his accomplishments as an editor and publisher. Congratulations. Peter Taylor, please join me. The Pulitzer Prize for Distinguished Fiction by an American author, preferably dealing with American life, is awarded to Peter Taylor for his Summons to Memphis, a novel that in assured, casually elegant prose reveals the dark universe of passion, greed, loyalty, and revenge underlying the mannered, traditional world of the Southern aristocracy, and subtly but relentlessly portrays the damage that brilliant, well-bred people can do each other. Mr. August Wilson, please join me. The Pulitzer Prize in Drama for a distinguished play by an American author, preferably original in its source and dealing with American life. This prize is awarded to August Wilson for Fences, which through the moving, powerfully realized saga of a middle-aged sanitation worker and his family creates the shock of recognition and universalizes a black man's quest for identity in contemporary America. Congratulations. Mr. Ashbel Green, please join me. The Pulitzer Prize for a distinguished book on the history of the United States is awarded to Bernard Bailey for Voyagers to the West, a study of 18th century British immigration to North America that marries meticulous archival research with creative imagination, and rather than breaking history apart, weaves it together in a story of rich complexity and compelling force. Accepting the award on Professor Bailey's behalf is Mr. Ashbel Green, Vice President and Senior Editor of Alfred A. Knopf. Will Mr. David Yarrow please join me? The Pulitzer Prize for a distinguished biography extensive new research to support a moving portrait of a man and a carefully nuanced analysis of the complex relationship between him and the movement he came to symbolize. Ms. Dove, please join me. Pulitzer Prize in Poetry for a distinguished volume of verse by an American author is awarded to Rita Dove for Thomas and Beulah, which traces the life of a couple who were part of the great movement of Southern blacks to the North as this century began, in poems of exceptional concision, diamond-sharp images, and striking lyricism. David Shipley, please join me. The Pulitzer Prize for a distinguished book of nonfiction by an American author, not eligible for consideration in any other category, is awarded to David K. Shipley for Arab and Jew, Wounded Spirits in a Promised Land, a work that with immense skill and often poetic force presents a brilliantly researched and scrupulously fair account of how Jews and Arabs dwelling together in Israel interact with each other and the origins of their attitudes and obsessions. Prize in Music for a distinguished musical composition by an American in any of the larger forms, including chamber, orchestral, choral, opera, song, dance, or other forms of musical theater, which has had its first performance in the United States during the year. This prize is awarded to John Harbison for The Flight into Egypt, a work that makes a powerful and direct expressive statement with music that is clear in design, apt in its treatment of the vocal and choral forces, and eminently appropriate to the text, and does all this with remarkably economical musical and instrumental resources. Mr. Harbison cannot be with us today. Susan Fader, Director of Promotions, J. Shermer Incorporated, is accepting the award on his behalf. And now you may talk to one another again. Thank you for coming.
Well done, Mike. Beats the hell out of work.